and welcome, my beautiful beings. My channel is designed to transform you, is designed to take you out of limiting belief systems and strip you of everything that isn't you, and with that, reconnect you to the Empress energetics, which are energetics of sovereign creatorship and energetics of utmost purity. So there's already a lot of beautiful content out there on my channel because every single video is designed as a session, as a transmission to bring you from one place to the other. So every session is meant to untangle something in your subconscious. So that as you start the video, you will leave this space transformed and different than you entered the space. So every video is about purification of frequencies, purification of self, stripping everything that is robotic, that is artificial, that is a program, that is a belief system, that is creating chaos in your life, or that is creating suffering in your life. All of that has to go. It has no space. It is not allowed. So that's what this channel is for. Today is part 2 of our big throat healing session. This is such a deep dive, so I had to create a part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, please go back to session 1 and watch that first and then tune back in later. We're going deep into throat healing from a perspective that you might haven't heard yet, because it's a very unique perspective. It's also my own experience. And I work with a lot of women in deep sessions and quantum healing sessions. So not only is it my healing experience, it's also the healing experience of hundreds of women that I worked with in the past 5 years. So we'll go deep, and you can hear it already. Like my throat has been clearing as well. So I initiated a big healing for myself with that last session. And this big throat healing session, throat field healing session, is all about utilizing our voice the Empress way. And the Empress is only utilizing her voice to create beauty. And we create beauty by speaking truth. So I went deep into that in the last session. What does that mean to speak our truth? Truth is not found in words. It's a resonance in our voice. So we first have to find that true resonance in our voice again to even be able to speak in truth. And so all the distortions that are found in our throat chakra that are blocking us from speaking that ultimate truth is something, again, we are going to strip in this session. So, I want to start off with a question that I found in the comment section. And it was about, well, how if we consciously basically play with our voice and step into different embodiments, which to me is an awareness, right? So your true core soul voice's resonance will, of course, have different facets, right? When I'm in my inner child, I have a different voice that I have now. It's still connected to my true soul frequency. When I'm in bed with my lover, with my partner, with my man, there might be a different voice that'll come out, which is still in resonance with my true soul essence. Right now, I'm speaking more from a presenter point of view. So you get a different range of my voice while I'm presenting this, but all of them are part of my true core frequency. So what we are speaking about is not aware embodiment and different embodiment. What we're speaking about is the unconscious ways that we use our voice. So it takes a lot to even find that voice again, to connect to that voice again, because a lot of times we're not conscious that our throat is blocked, or basically that because that's throat is blocked is kind of A more true way is that the geometric patterns in our throat chakra field are distorted. So we're zooming in on that, and all of the ways and all of the habits we have, or the things that we engage in, that cause these distorted geometries in our throat chakra field. So this is what we're shining a light on today. We're making the unconscious conscious. This is not about conscious embodiment and conscious, different voices come with different embodiment. This takes awareness. We're speaking about the areas in life where we're not conscious about how we're utilizing our voice. And so if we speak from a voice that is not connected to our true soul resonance due to trauma, due to fragmentation, if we speak from a fragmented space, we're not in creatorhood. And our voice, our true voice, is the most powerful tool of creation. Again, I went into that very deep in the first part, so tune into the first part first, because today we're going into deeper details. So after our session on Friday, I had a freaking beautifully profound quantum healing session here in Sedona with just this powerful royalty, like true avatar being. And when we went into the session, which was interesting, it's like before I have sessions, so the night before, I ask to be merged with the field of the other person. And I'm not saying that this is the ultimate way to do that. This is just, for me, at this point where I'm at, the best way I can tune into someone else's field. So then my dream state is calibrating me. My dream state is preparing me for certain things in the session, for certain energetics in the session that need to be addressed. So I'm basically diving into someone else's field for the night prior to the session and for the duration of our session. So when I woke up, I already woke up with this immense aggravation. And I then have to remind myself that, hey, this is not you. You're copy pasting someone else's field to be able to get a view. So I already woke up with this immense sense of fierce fire within. So I then got into our session space. And within our first 20 minutes of speaking, I could feel this immense pressure of words that weren't spoken. And so she even told me, like, I feel like I haven't taken one legitimate breath. Like, I feel like I can't breathe. And in that moment, I had to stop the session and we had to go out on the land and scream. Because what I could feel in her field was literally this, like, literally, that's what was happening internally. All of the anger, all of the resentment, all of the betrayal, all of the pain left unspoken creates like a freaking pressure cooker within our field. And so for that, you can do as much talk therapy as you want. Certain frequencies want to be released and have to be released in a very primal way. So we went out into the land and we screamed for like 30 minutes straight. Guttural screams from the core of your being. Now, this isn't pretty, right? This isn't something that is beautiful. I mean, it is beautiful in itself, but to release ancient pain, we have to go to ugly places to retrieve and take back these parts of our being. So, I of course came prepared. So when your voice is frozen in pain, we often have to go to some ugly places to retrieve your voice. And that's exactly what we did. And it's interesting. Ugly sounds, and what I mean by ugly is just very primal sounds. Like very like guttural sounds. Guttural sounds disturb the field and help us release. While harmonic sounds, beautiful sounds, harmonize the field and clear. And both of it is necessary at different times. But again, if we have ancient pain, if there is 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of anger that is unexpressed, sadness that went unexpressed or unacknowledged, betrayal, grief, all of that, we can talk as much as we want to. No word will be able to release this. We need to go to the animalistic places because, yes, we're celestial beings, but we're also animalistic in nature. So for these places and that what some would maybe call shadow work, to engage in that, we have to go deep. And not only is it the pain that went unacknowledged in this lifetime, these are also ancient imprints. Like sometimes when we open this box of Pandora or this can of worms, which, do I like this analogy? No, we're opening the box of Pandora, okay? So we're opening the treasure chest. So when we do that, this pain is older than this lifetime. And now think about how would pain sound like, the pain of maybe losing your children, being hung, losing your husband in war 1,000,000 times. Like that pain can't be translated into words. And yet we carry the pain of our bloodline. We carry DNA imprint that holds just such massive pain. We will have to go back to some ugly places in order to release this amount of pain. And that is, not only is that okay, that is freaking divine. So being able to go back to these primal states is pure divinity in itself. So we'll start with that. So guttural screams. I have my own breathwork technique where I go into that guttural sound. Because while breathing is important, taking the primal pain out of your womb is done through your throat, through the channel. Another way to do that is to sing, but authentically sing. Not pretending, not trying to emulate someone's voice, not trying to sound cute. I mean, sing. Sing like the elders sang. Sing like the natives sang. Sing like the tribes sang. They don't sound pretty if you listen to the tribal chants. And it's one native medicine man, he told me something that really stuck with me. And it's like, the ancestors and the spirits, they love off tones. They love it because it's the sound of releasing the demons, right? This is the sound when the demons are released, and the elementals, the ancestors, they love the sound of release because it's the sound of purification. So while you're chanting these off tones, these ugly tones, you're releasing demons, you're releasing old pain, and the elementals, the ancestors, the spirits will come and assist you. The benevolent spirits will come and assist you. So when I mean sing, I don't mean sound pretty. I mean sing from the core of your womb, from your true essence. And so your body always guides you. Your body tells you what sounds it wants to make, right? And it's yeah. So like releasing ancient pain is not going to be done with a nice sound bowl and angelic tones. Like this is also why I got mama drum right here. Like if we go ancient, if we go primal, your drum is your best friend. And it's vital. Phew. And in that, I want us to remember that we're the beauty and we're the beast. Both of it is divine. Both of it is necessary. The raw spaces Sometimes the raw spaces are heavenly, celestial, cosmic, beautiful. And sometimes the raw spaces are ancient, primal, wild, ugly, just as divine as that. Another way to clear our throat is like we utilize sex as our healing space. So let's get fucking real right here. We know by now that oral sex is literally clearing up our throat. Now, of course, I'm speaking about a divine partnership, a divine love union where all of this is possible. But this is even something you can do on your own. Like if you don't feel like you can get really sloppy and wild with your partner and you don't want to show that in front of your partner, get a suction cup dildo, literally, and get freaking wild. Clear out this throat. This is not gonna look pretty. This is gonna be like, and it's beautiful like that, right? This is not how we always engage in that. Oftentimes it's very conscious and very soft and very, very subtle. But if you want to clear, you can, your partner will gladly assist you and will hold the space for you if he's a real man. But if that is not available, do it by yourself and clear that throat. I mean that. There is nothing as powerful as literally penetrating your throat and clear out all the old stuff. Get sloppy, get crazy, get disgusting if you need to, and clear it out. We won't get to angelic places without sucking a good dick. I'm sure my man out there will very much appreciate that one. But it's not what I meant. But I do. We won't get to angelic places without really clearing out the gunk. And the way we clear out all the distortions, it's not gonna be always pretty, right? It's gonna be primal. So utilize that. Utilize sacred sex as the healing space, or create your own space. You don't need a man for that. I mean that. Get a giant suction cup dildo and clear that channel, right? Until all of this distortion is cleared, we won't be able to speak with the true resonance of our voice. So this is intense. This is an intense space. But guess what? The true oracle is intense. If you carry the energetics of the true oracle, it's intense because you will have an energy current running through your body that is much higher than what 99% of humanity or a lot of biorobots can handle. And when I say that biorobots, I mean, my teacher used this term the other day, and I'm like, yeah, very true. Very true. Because if we're operating from programming, and again, we as humanity are easily programmable. But if we operate from program, if we operate with repetition, we're basically not tapped into our humanity. We're biorobots. So if you have the frequencies, if you carry that true oracle, which I'm sure all of you who are watching me carry that, because that's the way I set up this channel. So if you're watching me, you have that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be attracted to that kind of deep dive. So you carry intensity. There's an energy current running through you that, again, 90% of people or 99% of people probably couldn't even handle. So things will get intense. And that takes embodiment. It takes a while to adjust to that high level of current coming in and running through your system. So for that, we need to clear out. And the way we clear out, again, it isn't pretty. Sorry, my lip gloss is like collecting in the corners of my mouth. Sorry. I'm always saying that. I like to get pretty for my women out there because you know that. Like, it's just fun. We love our makeup. We love our hair. We love to play with jewelry. We love a nice outfit. Like, I love a nice scenery. I love aesthetics. but shit will get ugly. And I'm all here for that. I'm all here for the ugly. In fact, that's the stuff that turns me on. So we'll go there. And in order to embody the Empress, embody a pure channel, like true purity, not fake bullshit, we will have to go to the deep places. And one way that you can detect, or what I sometimes see if we haven't fully done the ugly integration yet, is we run that high current and we try to disturb that current. And you can tell a lot of my oracles, a lot of my really potent high avatar beings, like truly, they haven't yet embodied that current, so they will speak in a high speed and just function on such a high speed manner where I'm like, whoa, like they will speak to you, they will operate in just a high speed. Like their brain just functions so fast. And I love that. Like these are my women that are really, and my man, of course, as well, but they are so high functioning. And yet the power and the amplified power is in the slowness, is when this current and your body got so attuned to this high current running through you that you don't have to speak so much in order to handle this current. Because if we constantly have this divine energy current running through us, sometimes when our body isn't calibrated yet, we just speak a lot to be able to handle it. But once you embody it, this is what's used for creation. So the more slow you get, the more tranquil your space becomes, the more 0 point you can actually hold, the faster you will magnetize creation into being, the faster you will magnetize matter, the faster you will magnetize the reality that you are meant to project. So if you're one of my women that are really high functioning, that just like, that's how your brain operates super fast, that's freaking beautiful. And there's probably an exploration of a maybe deeper pain that wants to be released, and a deeper feminine, raw, primal state that wants to be explored. Just as an idea. So how do we harmonize our throat chakra field? Let's get into that. This is going to be really fun. Phew. Okay. Number 1. Stop word policing yourself and others. Stop judging yourself and others, for that matter. But I don't like to even use that word judging so much, because to me it's like, oh, you shouldn't judge. People throw that word around when oftentimes, well, I'm discerning. And fact is a fact. And if I can pick something up, it's not a judgment, it's a fact. It's something I'm seeing. So I don't like to use the word judgment so much, because I feel like we should discern. And people oftentimes mistake judging for discerning. Well, what I mean by judging in your ways, or stop word policing, is that you track every thought and deem it as, that's naughty, I shouldn't think that, I shouldn't be doing that, I shouldn't say that, can I say that? Is that correct? Is that politically correct? Should I say that right now? Will I offend that person? That kind of bullshit. If that is going on in your mind, if that's the way you're tracking your thoughts, you are being imprisoned by a thought form, an energy that isn't yours. This is a virus, and this is imprisonment. This is not natural. This is something that finds us in form of waves, oftentimes artificially created waves, or the hive mind of a collective group. And now we think that this is our thought when it's not. It's literally a virus word policing you that sounds like it's your own voice when it's not. If you do this, you have to stop right now. When I speak, I don't think about the words that come out because I trust myself and I know that everything that comes through me is divine. Even if it sounds fierce, even if it sounds harsh, even if people get offended by it. Because guess what? Real people don't get offended. I don't recall one single fucking moment in my life where someone offended me, right? I don't get offended. I get curious. And that's healthy. Getting offended is a weird paradigm and a weird trauma response that in real people doesn't exist. Real people do not get offended. Let me set this straight right here. If you are in groups or if you are engaging with people that get offended, which is basically shaming you, that do some bullshit like, I can't believe you just said that. Fuck that. Like, for real, get these fucking people off of your plate. Get them out of your surrounding, because that's a virus. That's not them. That's not them. Real people don't get offended. Real people get hurt, that might happen. You might say something, or sometimes truth is fucking hurtful, or you might say something in anger that might hurt someone else, but they won't get offended. They will tell you, ooh, shit, that just hurt. Damn. Ooh, I have to sit with that for a second. Or, wow, like, can we get deeper into this? Real people don't get offended. So in that, I really see it as a harmful virus or a harmful programming. Because this is not only blocking you from speaking, this is not only disturbing your throat field. You can't word police yourself and have an open heart. So not only is it affecting your throat, it's affecting your heart. Because I can only be in my heart is open right now. Because I can speak my truth and I don't give a fuck what's coming out of my mouth. I'm not affected by it because I know whatever I'm speaking, even if I curse a lot, even if I swear, that's my truth. It's a frequency resonance of truth. So my heart can be open because I don't have to regulate internally. I speak from my core. Only when we're allowed to do that, or only when we're allowing ourselves to do that, can our heart be actually in an open resonance. Open. We feel. We can tune into someone else. And so when we word police, and also when we word police others, right? So when we do the same thing with other people, when we catch ourselves like, they shouldn't say that, or how could they? Like, really see where this is coming from and see if this is really your true, authentic reaction, or if some thought form, if some wavelength penetrating your field, if some hive mind is controlling your thoughts. Like, who's this invisible Karen in your mind? And Karen, I love that name. I'm sorry that this name got raped for this purpose, because Karen actually just means caring, right? But you know what I mean, just for the purpose of this. Like, if there is something in your field that's not your true frequency, that's not your true core resonance, this word policing yourself and others, it's not in your truth. And with that, okay, that's a vital one right now. And I made notes to make sure that I'm hitting all the spots, all the sweet spots. If you have that, if you feel like you have to word police, regardless where this is coming from, regardless if this was religious programming, if this was your parents' programming, if this came from school because you couldn't cuss or you couldn't swear, or people would shame you for the words, or people would shame you for your thoughts. Wherever this is coming from, it doesn't matter. We'll clear it out right now. We set the foundation for the clearing right here, because yes, of course, this will take a little while for you to get this shit out of your system. And so that starts with, again, eliminate people who judge you. Eliminate people that you can't speak your truth with. You want people around you that can handle all sorts of truths. You want people around you that don't look at you like they're judging. You don't want these people around you. If that means you have to hermit out for a while, beautiful. I had to. All the people that I know had to. What's my true resonance? What are the kind of people that I feel comfortable with? What are the kind of people that I can take and like just walk into their home, take a nap and fart and feel complete? Like people that do not judge you. Who are these people that you can be yourself with? Surround yourself with these kind of people. Surround yourself with people that when you get angry, when you get loud, they laugh because they love that frequency. They love it. Surround yourself with these people. And if they are currently not found in your environment, hermit out. Be by yourself and recalibrate your frequency to a vibration of truth. That just has to happen at times. So what I want all of you to really, like, I want that to be ingrained, imprinted in you. You are beings with a high encodement, with a DNA encodement that is rare. You embody a high frequency, and you came onto this planet with a template that has yet to be seen. Yeah. A lot of you are advanced starseeds. A lot of you have advanced DNA. Now, what happens if this advanced DNA is trying to fit in to a community or a hive mind that was created from a lower frequency with missing parts and distortions? No wonder that the totality of you won't fit in all of these distorted pockets. Why? Because you were meant to create your own communities. You were not meant to fit into some thought pockets that are maybe created due to political agendas. In that case, what's that whole 3-letter movement? How about Black excellence? How about Black royalty, right? Doesn't that sound better? So if you're trying to fit into these movements, you probably won't fit. And guess what? You probably offend a lot of people because these movements were created from distorted geometries, created on victim mentality. All you can do is offend. That's just the way these communities are set up. You are meant to create your own school of thought. You are meant, school of thought. Sorry, stupid. I guess it's the outfit. It's the dominatrix outfit that gets me in that thoughty vibe. Ooh. Your high dimensional processing of time and space is meant to create and form a school of thought, a community grid, soul pods, as what I wrote down. Okay, and I want to give you a little drawing because you are resonating on a frequency that very little people embody, and especially is rare to you. Even though if other people embody it, you embody it in your own ways. That's what Empress Energetic is, a blueprint. But there is no one way to embody that. You will have your own way of expression. And so as you become the center for your community, if you become the one that craves that hive mind, if you wish, but from a very pure soul-led standpoint, like not programming in a weird way, but actually like allow people to be in their soul resonance around you. And that's all I want. Like, all I want is for other people to be fucking comfortable exactly how they are. Whatever their true soul resonance is, be free to be that around me. And so because of that, in the last weeks, I've gotten to meet the most beautiful women ever. Strong fucking warrioresses. Like freaking beautiful beings of such immaculate purity. Women that are ratchet and funny and like nasty in all the good ways. Women that don't get offended. But women who like, give it to me. Give me the raw truth. I want to grow. I want to evolve. Give me the fucking truth. Like just precious beings, and yet so connected to cosmic truth, planetary, like otherworldly frequencies of like just beauty. How could I have found that specific frequency if not through my own embodiment? They are mirrors. These communities, these pods we're creating are mirroring our own essence. So if you haven't found your place in a community, it's because you're meant to create it. Because maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe your frequency, and not maybe, your frequency is so rare, you will be the one magnetizing the other parts of it. And it's almost like this. I made a little cute drawing. Look at that. These are soul pods, and this is your resonance, right? Only you hold that. But then there's someone, sorry, it's over here, someone else who will be like, oh yeah, I dig that. I vibe with that. And then maybe there's another person that won't necessarily vibe with you. Maybe you're not in total resonance with their frequency. And it doesn't matter that it's underneath, like this could be on top, like that has no meaning. But they resonate more with them because they have a piece of the puzzle that they needed. So they wouldn't have maybe resonated with you, but because you created a space, they were able to resonate with you. So you were like, they created that bridge between you, and you still got to share truth. So do you see why it's so important that we share our truth? That when we are embodying an authentic expression, we're the one creating community. We're the one creating purity. And so this is like this whole soul pod expansion. Because even if that other person's not vibing on my level, well, maybe you are vibing with me, but you have an essential piece of the puzzle for them that I didn't have. Maybe you walked through a fire that I can't even imagine walking through. So we will all bridge the gap for one another, and we will all exchange these pockets of high frequency and information resonating in truth. So that's why it's vital that you stop giving a fucking damn of what other people think about you. And this is our next point. It's a virus and it's a malfunction. A true heart does not care what other people think. A true heart is not worried to be liked by other people. If you are scared of what other people think, if you are worried, if you want to be liked by other people, let's get really pragmatical right here. It's a malfunction of your heart. It's a virus. It's not real. And it means in that your heart field is compromised and that you're disconnected from God. Whew. And here we are again. The throat closed and the throat heart, they have a connection. If you have a closed throat, it's very, like, it goes hand in hand. You'll have a closed heart. So if you're regulating your voice, if you're regulating what you're saying, if you're adapting to people's frequency just in order to be liked, your heart is also not open, and you're disconnected from your heart, and you're disconnected from God. And now, why will it get so freaking easy to not care about what other people think? It's very easy. Because guess what? God put people in your world, and the people that God placed in your world, and you can use whatever like hits the spot for you. For me, God just hits the spot, but source, universe, whatever you like, whatever floats your boat, right? For me, it's God. The people that God placed in your world, they will always favor you. You won't have to try with them. You won't have to pretend with them. You don't have to like do a lot for them or whatever the fuck. People that are put in your world by God, they will fucking see you. They will support you. They will be your hype man, your hype women. They will have your back and front and up and down, all the sides. They will be the riders. They will see you, and you don't have to try. They will see even beneath your insecurities. They will see your real power. And now you're here neglecting the people that God put in your field to be liked by people that do not have any relevance for your experience. Because guess what? The people that you can't be yourself with, that's a sign from God. As easy as that. If you feel like you have to somehow like merge with someone else's field, be someone else, dim your light, or not speak your truth, or pretend, be pretentious whatsoever, these people weren't placed in your world by God. That's for sure. I can guarantee you that. Now, if you still want to entertain that, more power to you, because you will need more power because you're wasting a shit ton of energy. These are not the people that were placed into your world by God. So you get to choose. It's very easy. The moment you feel like you have to alter your truth, you're speaking to someone that is absolutely fucking irrelevant for your soul path. You're speaking to someone that wasn't placed into your reality by God. So if that isn't the case, then what am I entertaining here? It's easy, and I know you have these people. Remember the people that you met, and it was just like, yo, you're a homie. You're an ancient homie. Like, I see you. And same with them. Like, you have these people. Maybe it's just one person. That one person where you never had to try, where you never had to be someone else, where you never had to dilute a word you were saying, where you never had to hold back, where you never felt fucking judged for anything that came out of your mouth. Even if that was your grandma, even if it's just one person and that person was your grandma, whoever that was, or that homie lover friend that you met when you were a teenager, or that best friend that you grew up with, right? And even though maybe you live different like lives right now, if you came back to our house, you could be your fucking self, and it's a safe space. Like, whatever that is for you, I know you have that one person. I know you can think about that one person in your life. That person was placed in your life by God. And there will be more of that once you fucking stop fucking entertaining that. Stop that. And maybe stop even fucking them. I don't know. A lot, like, if you engage with them, if you have sex with them, no. Like, no. There are people that God placed in your reality. That's the only reality we entertain. Because we have to realize we live on one plane. But that one plane holds millions and millions of worlds. And just because we share a plane with someone doesn't mean that they belong into our world at all. So you get to decide. You can either entertain the people in your reality that God placed there, which are just motherfucking real ass people, or you can entertain a weird ass fake dimension that has nothing to do with your experience and is totally irrelevant for your experience. And you can entertain that fake ass dimension with fake empty people. They weren't meant to merge or intersect with your reality. They weren't meant to do that here. These are like God's people will fucking resonate with you. The other people, they're not even like, you're not playing in the same like dimension. Just get rid of it. And remember, it's an easy signal, very easy. If you feel like you have to try hard with anyone, God didn't place them in your reality. It's as simple as that. Life is simple. Next one, number 3, I believe. Stop being polite. Stop being polite. Kindness and niceness, you already know, they're not the same thing. You can be the most kind-hearted soul and be a wretched ass motherfucker. Let me tell you that. I know freaking Albanian bouncers that embody more truth than some yogini dressed in all white. Let me tell you that much. Politeness is killing your oracle. Politeness is killing your oracle. Because again, we're word policing. We've been like introduced into this weird programming. And what is politeness? It's basically like everyone is tap dancing around a turd and pretending it doesn't stink. Quit politeness and catch yourself in politeness. Politeness is not a real, authentic frequency. It's not authentic. You can be kind. You can be pleasant. You can be aware of someone's feelings. Like, sorry, that lip gloss. Sorry, I have a sip of water. You can be pleasant in someone's field. So that means like you know, maybe you hold back a little in a sense of, what would that be? Like non-intrusive. And you can be non-invasive, right? That might be one form of politeness, is to know when to be non-intrusive and non-invasive to other people's fields. Like, just an example that comes up right now, when I used to be a waitress, people would consider me polite, but I wasn't necessarily polite. What I was non-invasive. Like, if I gauged the field, if I saw that a table was in an intimate conversation, I wouldn't run up to them and ask them, "Hey, is everything okay, guys?" Like, some waitresses or waiters, they don't have that subtle awareness where, you know, like you're engaging in a conversation and they will just like jump in and be like, "Yo, everything okay, guys?" without tuning in first if that is a space to interrupt. So a lot of times I would hear, "Hey, you're very polite." But what they actually meant is I was non-invasive and I was very subtly aware of if my engagement would be intrusive. And I just thought of that because like the word polite was used. But that's not what polite is. With polite, I mean that a lot of times we speak through the flower, and that we're not speaking through a flower. We're faking shit. We're faking stuff. Kindness is not niceness. It's not meekness and it's not politeness, if politeness is a word. So check yourself and scan yourself when you're polite, but your true resonance is actually, I'm pissed off, I'm aggressive, this is not correct, this is annoying me. So let's quit the polite bullshit because it's very artificial. It's not authentic. And in that, we're making your inner voice your outer voice. Because the recipe for creation is your inner frequencies match what comes out of your mouth, or basically out of any pore of your being, because your voice doesn't just come out of your mouth, it is spoken through all of your body. So as long as that isn't in a match, you're speaking lies into existence. And politeness is one example. If your inner voice matches your outer voice, politeness isn't even necessarily an option. It's just truth that comes out. However that truth has to be. Sometimes it has to be fierce, sometimes it's sweet. But politeness, I don't know how to be polite at this point anymore, because that would be faking shit. And I don't want to do this. Not ever again, and not for anyone. So when our inner voice doesn't match our outer voice, or the other way around, we are lying, and lies create chaos. And again, that might not be something we're consciously aware of, but I remember that one thing that stood out really well for me. And it's a long time ago. I was maybe 19, maybe 1920. And again, I was at a restaurant and the waitress was this just Persian powerhouse. Like, I freaking love my Middle Eastern women because they kept that fire of truth. Like, really, like my Greek women, Lebanese women, like like Arab women, a lot of my Middle Eastern women kept that fire of truth. They don't know polite. They don't play polite. They play real. So I remember I was on the table, and her presence, she was just so like oomph. It intimidated me. And I became really meek, and I was just like faking shit. I was just, the way I spoke was like me, 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 in this like weird voice. And like something about her pissed me off. I guess because she was so in her power. Like there was also this passive aggressive undertone I had. And the way she interacted with me, maybe it wasn't conscious on her end, but it definitely left an imprint in me that helped me later on to realize how I was not in resonance with my truth. So basically, the way I was speaking probably pissed her off, because she's like, yo, woman, what are you doing? Like, remember who the fuck you are, because whatever is speaking through you right now, that isn't your truth. You're not in true resonance with your being, woman. So what are we doing here? Like, that's what her energetic was saying. Like, when I was speaking in that meek voice, she was like, what? How can I help you, my love? What's going on? Like, she was like that. Like, she was really getting that out of me. And back then I'm like, what is happening here on the table? Like, it was super interesting because she knew my partner at that time, and they were cool. Like, they were chilling. And the whole table could feel this non-verbal interaction. We didn't have words to put on it back then. But it was her feminine fire that was like, wake the F up, woman. Because whatever you're playing here, that's not your voice. That is not your truth. Speak your truth, woman. And it was such a beautiful interaction, where that was one example where I was not in my truth. I was meek, I was passive aggressive, and I was like talking in that, trying to be sweet and trying to like have this fiscally voice or whatever. It wasn't me. And she was like, yo, you're dishonoring the female right now with that pretending shit. Like, stop it. I thank her for that. Another one I had to learn is, And that was me. I give you a personal example right now because I have a lot of fire within me. Like my whole chart is just Sag and Capricorn. It's just a lot of force, a lot of fire. And I don't want to say force, that's a lot of power and a lot of fire. So I would, and I also have it in my human design chart where I have this incarnation cross of confrontation. Like my presence is meant to confront people in order to pull out the truth. Like that is my blueprint, that's my design. But up until actually pretty recently, I was so afraid of that truth because I still had so many broken, fragmented parts of my heart that wanted to be liked, that wanted to be seen, appreciated, not even seen, that just wanted to be accepted, like all of that, like all that outside validation. Of course, I've been working on that a lot, but it takes a while. So like reminiscences of that or leftover shit of that. And one of the most profound moments, one of my teachers, like she's the woman that took me in, that literally fed me, gave me a home when I had nothing. She was looking at me and she was like again, there was almost like this little sense of pity, which I spoke about. Pity is a very painful frequency. She was looking at me and she was like, what happened to you, man? Like you have fire all over your chart. You're Sag sun, you're Sag rising, man. And all over. Like you're quadruple Sag in all of your like charts. Where's that fire? Like, where are you right now? Because knock, knock, I see an empty shell. Like, what happened? Like, you're meek. What happened to you? And I was really in this slave girl mentality. I was broken. And not the good kind of slave, not the I surrender to you, daddy. I was broken. And I couldn't speak. Like, I was so not in my truth that I couldn't speak without a stutter. Like I was, my inner voice was just so disconnected from what I was saying that anytime I would speak, my throat was like, no, we're not doing that. Whatever you're saying is so out of resonance with your truth, we're shutting down your throat chakra. Like I had this experience for almost 2 years. It was horrifying. Like I'm speaking from experience. I came from a country in which eloquence, intellect, all of that was appreciated. I went to the US speaking a language that wasn't mine. So that was very like humbling for me because I couldn't express myself as fluently as I'd like to in the beginning. Plus, I was confronted with my inner self. So literally, there were so many moments where I would stutter and I couldn't speak. And it was because of my inner voice and whatever I was about to say was just so out of tune with my soul's truth that my throat would literally block to a degree where I would stutter and I couldn't say the thing. So that sometimes I would just have to stop because I couldn't get the word out. I couldn't get the sentence out. It was fucking horrible. It was a lot. And it broke me down in the ways that it exactly needed to. So that was also, I remember that the first time that this really happened was when I was on a date. And I was on this date with this like Israeli, like wealthy, family protected guy. Like he just came from this really affluent, wealthy family. And he spoke about all of the private schools he went to all over the world and how they own all of these restaurants in LA and all of that. And the tightened community he was a part of. And it was just, I felt so worthless next to him, like so worthless. Like I remember we were on top of the mountain looking over LA. It was a beautiful scenery, but he like talked about his life and he was probably just he was feeling insecure. So he tried to, talk himself up. And I was there next to him. And in that moment, that was the first time when my throat literally just was like, no, we're not speaking. I tried to speak and I would stutter. And I felt so worthless and I felt so stupid and I felt so out of place. And my body was like, whatever you're feeling is the absolute craziest lie ever. Like, what you're feeling is you're lying to yourself. In you feeling unworthy, you're fucking lying to your soul essence. Your soul essence does not believe you're unworthy. Your soul essence thinks you're the greatest thing that ever happened to existence. Like, your truth was not felt at all in that moment. So my body was like, no, we're not allowing you to speak from that disgusting vibration, and we're not allowing you to speak these lies. So I was literally having a panic attack next to him, and I felt so stupid back then, because I was like, I kept stuttering and I couldn't find words, and he was then like, his insecurity was basically looking at me like, what's happening with you? It was just such an unsafe environment. It was terrible. And it was just one of these nights where I just cried and I'm like, never again. Never again. So that was one of the examples where my throat would literally shut down, because my voice within and my voice without just wasn't in harmony. And so speak what you feel. And if you feel like speaking what you feel isn't available right now, like, rather train yourself not to speak at all. If what you are about to say is going to be a lie and out of resonance with your truth, train yourself not to speak in these moments. Like, really, if you feel like you're in an environment where you can't allow your true essence to speak, and it's all right. Sometimes we tend to be in these environments. Don't speak at all. Like, don't speak at all. Just observe. You're allowed to just observe too. Or talk to that one person where you can do that. And maybe that's a child, or maybe that's an animal. Like, sometimes I have these moments where I'm in a surrounding where I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling it. But there's a child that you can kick it with, or there's an animal you can play with. You're not obligated to speak. If you feel like your voice can't be heard in that environment, which I'm sure it can, don't speak. Like, Italian mama would always say, don't speak if you don't have anything good to say. Hi, FedEx. What's up? What else? Big one. Stop holding it together. Stop holding it together. For Christ's sake. Because yes, he would tell you the same thing. Stop holding it together. That Christ consciousness is telling you that. Stop holding it together. Express your feelings. Like, the women that I see are the women that didn't get to express themselves, whether that was in their family pod or in their relationship or in their friendships. Like, the women that have this, like, I feel stuck here, I don't know why I'm in this miserable situation, and they literally feel like a pressure cooker. They feel like something is about to explode, but it can't. Like, that's when literally their eyes start to twitch. Like, I have that. Like, they feel like they can't express themselves. And now think about that. We spoke about that in the beginning. How does that feel like, to have all of this anger and nowhere to express it? It is toxic. That's the shit that creates cancers and fucking cysts and all of that. Express your anger. Express it. Express what you're truly, authentically feeling. And especially, like, in a relationship, I see that so many times, that women, they're unhappy, they're sad, they retrieve because something happened that really broke their heart and they never expressed it, or because they were, something told them, oh, it's stupid, I can't be upset about that. You can be upset about every fucking thing you want to be upset about. There's no such thing as, oh, I shouldn't be upset about this. If something in you is triggered, it's triggered. If something in you is hurt, it's hurt. And yes, there is a difference in a trauma response, but allow yourself to feel into that instead of saying, oh, I shouldn't be upset about this. I was upset and I cried because my partner didn't want to get me an extra set of ranch dressing the other day. And yet, this might sound really stupid. And again, there was a part of me that was judging me of like, how stupid is that? But it wasn't about the ranch. Like, F the ranch. Like, I don't even eat that stuff anymore. It was just like that one moment, and we had this one like interaction. And it was literally this thing like, oh, you have that one sauce. That one sauce is enough. You don't need to get that extra thing. And I was so upset about that. Number one, because we were in a really vulnerable space. Like, we just made love. My field was still open. And it was almost like there was something else behind that. It was the energy of, you don't deserve that. While I wanted the energy of, my queen, you can have whatever the fuck you want. And no, it's not stupid to pay $3 extra for that extra dip of ranch. You can have whatever you want. I don't care. As long as my wifey is happy, I pay whatever. And it wasn't even about the money. That was just some frugal stuff in him that came out. And something like in him that wasn't aware of what's the highest frequency in this moment. So whatever, doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, nothing is too stupid to be sad about, because oftentimes it's just a surface level thing that points to something deeper. And so I see so many women holding that back. So many women, again, judging themselves. That's where judgment comes in. Policing themselves of, I shouldn't be sad about this. I shouldn't think that. You should. You should. If you do, it's because you should. That doesn't mean you can't like take a breath. That doesn't mean you can't go out and sit with it for a second because you like throw it at your partner. But sometimes that fiery truth has to come out. Sometimes these tears that seem very irrational, they have to come out. That's the superpower of your oracle. Sometimes things are not rational, especially with women. It's not rational. Your power is irrationality. And trust me, a man that is worthy, a real ass man, will handle your intensity. And he will love that fire. And he will tame that fire. And if that is not the man, if a man shames you for that, he hasn't grasped the essence of the feminine yet. I'm not speaking about trauma bullshit where you just load up all past trauma onto him. That's a different topic. I'm speaking about a moment where an honest feeling comes up, which when you're in tune with your heart and your body, you're moving through the motions. You're like a child. You're very receptive to states. Like right now I'm here, I'm crying. In 5 minutes I'm laughing. That's what children do. That's what fluid emotional states do. And as the feminine, you travel through these states. So when you suppress it, this is when you kill all polarity. Because now, how many times can this happen without affecting your relationship? How many times can you tell yourself, well, I shouldn't be angry, whatever, it doesn't matter that much. Oh, he didn't open the door for me, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, he said that one thing that was kind of hurtful, well, whatever, it's not that big deal. Oh, here, that really like pinged my heart, but whatever, I shouldn't be sad about that. How many times can that happen without you closing off? And I'm not even speaking about the big things. I'm speaking about the little moment-to-moment interactions. Express whatever needs to be expressed. That's your superpower. And again, if he can't hold that intensity, or if he's shaming you for that intensity, he's weak. Plain and simple. He's weak. And he has to work on himself and his masculine presence and him holding space for you. Because the real masculine witnesses that and holds space for that. And whether that is, yo, baby girl, what you're doing right now is irrational. I hear you, but I have to stop you right here because that isn't the truth. Let's come back later. Or we're going in circles, baby girl. This is nonsense. stop right here. But he will never shame you. He will redirect, he will hold space and create space. Or he will be like, "Ooh, I hear you, woman. Okay, yes, you're right. I have to sit with this. Let me allow your words to penetrate, or let me allow myself to sit with your words." Because he knows whatever spur of the moment might come out, he knows you're an oracle. And he knows your purity, and he knows that you are a guiding light for him. So any man that can't handle that isn't a man that is in mastery, and is also not a man that is interested in embodying mastery. So therefore he is weak. So therefore he doesn't belong in your field. As simple as that. I know it's not always that easy, but it is. The next one. Stop trying to be anything. Stop trying to be anything. Whether that is to be happy, to be whatever. And just get real with what is. This is one of the biggest blocks that I see, or one of the biggest distortions in the throat field. Stop trying to be anything and just get real with what is. There are so many people, so many women I work with that are like, "I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. I don't want to be sad anymore. I want to feel happiness." And I get it. You deserve to feel happiness. But if you're here, happiness might not be right here. Happiness might not be your next step. Happiness might be here. Right? It's like if we are in a state of depression, which is a very low vibrational state in which we numbed ourselves to basically all sensations, the next step won't be happiness. So get real with what is. Instead of saying positive affirmations that just don't ring true, because guess what? If you're in depression, saying, "I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I'm abundant," maybe that feels like shit because it's just not true. Maybe say, "Fuck, I'm sad, and I wish I could appreciate the flowers. I wish I could appreciate the people around me. I wish I could be grateful for what I have." That's truth, right? Because you're not saying, "I'm so grateful for what I have. I love the people around me. No. You're speaking truth, because if you're in a certain state of vibration, if you're in a certain state of pain, or not even pain, because pain is access to truth, but depression, numbness, fakeness, oftentimes doesn't allow you to feel anything. So the truest thing you can say is, "Fuck, I wish I could feel that." That's why tapping is very powerful, because when you tap, you don't tap on affirmations, you tap on truth. You tap on, "I'm sad, I wish I could feel. I wish I can feel my body again. I wish I can feel my body again. I wish I can feel my heart again. I wish I have access to my true voice again." You will tap on true, what is true. And that's why sometimes the most radically transformational thing is just to speak truth. For that, Ho'oponopono, powerful thing. Then I have a whole video on that as well, if you want to watch that. Because Ho'oponopono is truth. So, fuck happiness, and let's get real with the moment. And that's also why, like, these fake yogi communities, or these like 5D spiritual communities, this false light community, is a big trap, because you have a lot of people in sadness, or in numbness, or in a lot of programming and distortions, trying to escape into this fluffy, duffy, weird, artificial 5D realm of spirituality, where it's like, "Yeah, only happiness is real," and all of this shit. you're not doing yourself a favor. That's why I'm very cautious with a lot of the coaching industry, because a lot of that, they went from distortions and numbness and programming to artificial happiness. This whole like state of, yeah, oh, I'm so happy that you can be so vulnerable right now, like that shit. Or, oh, that isn't really spiritual of you, and all of that BS. Like, no, not allowed. It's not an authentic frequency. So that's why with people, I always say, fuck happiness and let's get real. Because for you to feel authentically happy, that might take some time. For me to feel authentically like happy took 6 years. Like 6 years, man. That doesn't mean that in these years I didn't have moments of true happiness and even bliss and ecstasy and tranquility. I did. States of samadhi, as what I understand as samadhi. But it took me 6 years to get into an everyday state where happiness is my base resonance. That took 6 years. And that wasn't through me faking happiness. That wasn't through me putting on a face where I had no energy left to give. That was by me getting really real with, I fucking hate my life right now. I am fucking devastated. I don't want to live anymore. I hate my environment. I am not fulfilled. I am saddened beyond anything I could put into words. And that every moment took realness of the moment, not fake happiness. So that's why get real and stop trying to be anything and just speak the truth of the moment. That is what will connect you to happiness. Moments of truth, regardless of how painful they are, there is bliss on the other end. There are moments where I cried for hours, but at the end of it, there was all of a sudden bliss. There was tranquility. There was a 0 point state available that wouldn't have been available if I faked happiness. That's a throat clearer, right? So speak truth and stop dabbling in these distorted grids of distorted manifestation and all is so easy and all, like, quit that. Life is easy. Yes, it is. But it takes a while to release a lot of the pain and purify your body. That's also just part of the journey, and that's okay, depending on, not just okay, that's divine. Stop feeding the mind virus. And I mentioned that earlier. It's when we are not in our body. Yeah, we haven't found a place in our body yet. And we are with our voice, even if we're in our mind. That's a state that is very easy to control, very easy to program, very easy to manipulate. Now make sure that you are the one programming your field and you are the one manipulating the energies in the field and not the other way around. And that's what I mentioned with that voice, like certain thought forms that come in that you pick up if you're not like attuned enough to your own resonance and your own voice. You will pick up certain thought forms, or you might pick up thought forms, and they will sound like your voice, but they're artificial waves, or they're even like dark portals. And I just want to give you the example of, we have like SEDONA is a beautiful space, but there's a bridge here, and my partner actually like drove along the bridge, and in that there was almost like this voice telling him, you could kill yourself right now. Is that his voice? No. I had that experience when I had the SORONA virus, whatever, right? There was such an artificial frequency. There was such a frequency of hopelessness and gray and distortion. I didn't want to live anymore. Was that my soul resonance? No, it was artificial. But that was like, you can kill yourself. Like, you don't have to live anymore. It's over. There's nothing good coming for you. like you won't have joy in your life, that is not your voice. That is a fucking artificial virus. That is a demonic thought form that is not existent in your true soul resonance. And certain portals will have that, right? We have certain areas where a lot of people commit suicide. It's because there is literally a dark portal open and they receive thought forms that are not theirs, and yet they don't have enough consciousness to decipher that that isn't their voice. So that happens on all levels. So if you haven't truly embodied your soul's frequency, and if you are not literally projecting your soul's frequency onto the field, which the field needs, right? The field needs your frequency. Enough of that artificial bullshit. Enough of that. It needs your soul's resonance. So if you do that, you won't pick up on these thoughts anymore. And if you do pick up on them, you can easily decipher, oh, that's just a like really, really low level thought form, an artificial, lower dimensional thought form, and it won't penetrate you. You might laugh about it. You might joke with it. Yeah. Also, the fears that come in, sometimes they're just a lower thought form that we pick up, whether that was something in our field or in the collective. So get really clear on what is your internal voice and what is not. And trust me, anything that is self-deprecating, anything that is putting you down, anything that makes you second guess your true origin, your soul, is not your voice. It's artificial. So become this fucking shamani that you are and claim your space back. You can do this immediately. Phew. And the last one is stop using your voice as a distraction. If you want a powerful throat field, don't use your voice to stir you away from intimacy. Don't use your voice to stir you away from actual feeling. That's a very vital one. Because we can use our voice to amplify beauty, to bring more depth into the space, to bring more authenticity into the space, right? We can use words that actually deepen an engagement, or we can use our voice because we're scared to go that deep, and we use it as a distraction. We just keep talking. Watch that. Whether that is in your relationship, stop talking. Like literally. Sometimes I start a sentence and I can just feel like, I don't know why I'm starting this, but I don't have to finish the sentence and I don't have to finish the story I was just about to share because it's not in truth and it doesn't add anything to the space. If your voice isn't adding to the space by its like true authentic resonance, if it doesn't make the space more like just delicious or truthful, you don't have to share. You have the allowance to just sit back and be like, you know what? Whatever, forget that part. It's not important because it's not true. How do you utilize your voice? Are you amplifying beauty? Are you amplifying intimacy? Because that's the way the Empress uses her voice. And if not, it's artificial and it's not you. And you can just learn how to you don't have to finish the thought. You could literally just say, because that will also train other people, oh, never mind. Never mind. That's not real. What I was about to say doesn't feel true to my body, so forget about that. Or scratch the last 30 seconds of our conversation because it wasn't true in my body. Sorry you don't even have to apologize. Just say that. And that you will also train other people that, only truth is allowed right here. So on the last note, my September container is opening. I am available for quantum healing sessions if you want to do the deep work, because that is also part of the quantum healing sessions. We reconnect you to your true voice. That is something that we do as we call in your core soul essence. So these quantum healing sessions are also big voice reconnecting sessions. I told you about some experience that I had in my last session. That was before our hypnosis. But in the hypnosis, we connect you to that core soul essence of you, which will clear that channel. So that's one of the deep moving parts of the sessions, is to connect you to that true voice. Because while you're in that meditative state, that voice might be easier to access than when you're in a superficial, whatever, everyday engagement. When you're in a deeper, slower brainwave state, I will speak to you and I will request that only that voice will come out. And when you're in that deeper brainwave state, it's easier to access that true voice. And once you hear how that voice sounds, how a more truthful resonance sounds, this will change the way you interact with life. So that one part of the session is really vital to reconnect to the voice again. And there's so much I love about quantum healing and QHHT in particular, but that part is, it's transformative and it's life-changing. So I am available for sessions. Connect with me, contact me. You can text me via my website, which is linked down below. In September, we're starting our big, massive 3-month transformation. My one-on-one work container, it's deep. It's not just you and I going on calls. We will kick off the 3 months with a quantum healing session, a 7-hour-long session, just go really deep. Then there's a whole program and curriculum connected to that. So when we're not on the calls, there's almost like a whole course curriculum you're going through, with embodiment practices, with meditations, with transmissions. So it's more than anything I've ever seen or myself engaged in. I really wanted to make sure that you come out of that transformed, like quantum shift. And for quantum shift, we have to go deep, and we also have to address a lot of basics. So basics doesn't mean it's boring stuff. It means embodying a stable foundation, a stable ascending foundation. So if you're interested in that, if your heart feels like you want to work with me one-on-one, you want to dive really deep, there are 3 spots for the September container open, and you can reserve your spot right now already. So I love you so much, and I see you in our next session, and I'm excited for that. And thank you for your comments. I just love to hear your way of receiving that, and I love to hear your mirror of what you received. So keep the comments going. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Let's grow this channel. I want more women to receive that. It's vital. We need these building blocks to heal. So thank you so much for all of you. I feel you. I freaking love the women that I connect with, because you are just a beautiful mirror of mine. So I love you, and I see you next week.